As kayak anglers, what do we hear all of the time?
Just buy a boat!
I did! Here it is. This is the new Crescent Crescraft. I'm gonna give you a rundown on the stats, and then I'm gonna show you up close how everything functions. If you don't already know, we're the Aggressively Average Anglers. Jeff's over there by the pond. We'll see him in a second. My name is Paul, and this is what we do. We test out kayaks, we show you the newest stuff, and we let you decide if it's right for you or not.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a quick rundown. This is a $2,699 model. There are two different models. What you're looking at right here is the skiff, and then they also have a different configuration called the power-kayak. They are both the same price. This kayak is 13 feet, 6 inches long, 39 inches wide. It weighs 119 pounds and has a weight capacity of 500 bones. Bones, you heard me. That translates to pounds. Now, what's the concept behind this kayak? This is about as close to a boat as you can get. Now, the type of boat, this is a skiff, meaning there are no holes in this boat. Water gets inside, it flows all the way through the back, and it really is designed to draft very shallow. That means sit in skiddy water, and it is meant to have a big old motor on the back. You can run a 6 horsepower gas motor or a 6 horsepower equivalent electric motor, and believe me, we will be doing that. Or if you want, you can get a different plate with the power-kayak option that we'll show you later, and you can go ahead and just put your foot steer motor on the back, your electric foot steer, like you see on a lot of other fishing kayaks. So now that we understand what the heck this freaking thing is, it's a big plastic boat, let's go take a closer look and look at some of the features, how they work, and what makes this thing so special. So you guys, this configuration right here, like I mentioned, is the skiff configuration, meaning you're gonna run this with a tiller steer motor. That's why they have this place right here, a transom for you to mount that motor. And then we talked about like the seat. This is actually a teak wood seat. This comes with the original configuration when you purchase it. All you gotta do is put these 4 T-bolts here and here, screw them down, seat is installed. You can trim it out a little bit. I'm interested to get this on the water to see how much trim you're gonna need, because obviously you only got about 6 inches that you can move the seat. 6, 7, couple inches, you can move that seat. But in all honesty, when your tiller steer is right here, you can't get that far from it. If you get too far from it, you got yourself a problem. So we'll see how that feels, how that looks and feels. Now, one cool thing about this configuration, you won't get the foot steer with that configuration. I just didn't want to take it off, so you won't have this. But what you do have the option for is a nice big bar that bolts right here, a little captain's bridge, and then you can go ahead and throw one of Crescent's roto-molded Yeti style kayak coolers right here up on the kayak. You strap it down with this, loop it through, and what you have right here is not only a place to stand up and have a bar to hold on to, but you can also have somebody sit right here. You can put a second angler, have their feet go up here. You can stand up on this deck. There's actually, if you pop this open, your compartment right here, we'll talk a little more about this in the future, but right back here, got a big, huge piece of foam that is supporting this portion of the deck, meaning that when this lid is closed, this is actually a standing platform for you to do some fly fishing, casting, have a little fun while you're cruising on the water, stand up, and then, yeah, red sight fishing for things like redfish out in the flats. And yeah, you can stand up on this and use it as a standing platform. Now, when we say this is a boat, there are a lot of boat-like things involved here. We have a full-on actual cleat, just like you would find on a boat. Totally stow and go. You have a spot right here for your nav light, so assuming that you do put a motor on this, which I would assume you would, you'd have your red and green lights on here. You have a clip right here in the front. You want to attach this to a buoy, you can actually do that. This is how you would manage an actual boat. And if you look at the hull design, you got a very pointed prow. So this is your pointed prow. We like pointed prows because what do? That means you're getting a lot less resistance in the water. This is more of an actual boat shape, less of a kayak shape. Yeah, so you're gonna deflect that water across the side instead of pushing the water against the motor, so the motor's doing less work. Now they say you can get up to 19 miles an hour with a gas 6-horse motor.
What?
When I look at this, look at how flat it is at the bottom. After you get past that pointed prow, look how flat the bottom of that hull is. You got these two pieces right here to grip that water, and then you've got your tracks to move the water to reduce that resistance even further. So this is more of a boat hull shape, less of a kayak hull shape. That means speed and more speed. I like speed, bring it. A couple things to note here. You do have the higher end. These are made by the company Ketch. They're made in America, metal tracks, and they are top load. So you've got 2 up here in the front. You obviously can add these wherever you want. I'm actually thinking about putting these up here when I do my kayak build, so I can put a captain's bridge across here and get a big ol' Garmin screen on there. You got the matching decking. Honestly, this is gonna be filthy by the time I'm done with it, but god dang does it look good right now. And then you have, these are really cool. I've never seen this before. So you get little short stubby, made in America metal clips here, but you can put some Yak Attack rings here and here, and now you have a really great way to secure your crate if you're using this in the kayak configuration. Or just your big old battery, baby, for your big old electric motor. We're gonna be putting the Newport NT, that stands for tiller, 600 here on the back in this configuration.
That's too many horses.
I honestly think that we're gonna be pushing 10 to 12 miles an hour with that configuration. If it can,
we're 12 plus.
I think so too, but hey, look, I want to be a little conservative with the estimates here. Now, another cool thing that you can do, Crescent actually with this teak bench, now that is great for a tiller steer. The seat back just gets in your way, so that's why they have this in the skiff configuration. Now, your patootie is going to be heating up, okay? If it's like 100 degrees and this thing gets warm, you sit on that, you're gonna singe your hiney. What you could do, Crescent has a nice little sleeve that goes over. It's the same material as their kayak seats, or you could go get yourself a kayak cushion and you just strap that right on there and I think you're good to go. And then, dude, the purple with the purple on the seafoam, talk to me. Now, one thing that we always talk about with Crescent in the past, we've given them feedback like, hey, I never have access where I need access to do my install. So if you want to put a power pole here, whatever it is that you decide that you want to mount here on the back, you need to have access. And what I see, no access, it's a problem. What they have put in here is 2 plates. These are beautiful CNC, looks like aluminum plates. You can unscrew these and now you have enough access to get back here, do your install, manage your wiring, and take care of business as needed to get power to the back of the boat here. Now, one thing I want to note, there's a couple things to this configuration. Let's say you wanted some electronics on this. So when we talk about transducer mounting, and actually there's nowhere recessed, a safe place to mount a transducer like you would typically see in a kayak. So again, change your mindset. This is a boat. So let's say you have your electronics up here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drew a through hull, a Yakutech through hull right here to pop the transducer cable. Now I can use all 15 feet of that cable to come all the way back here, and now I can mount it more like you would mount a standard transducer on a boat, where I'm gonna have it hanging down inside the water right here. It's not gonna hit anything because the bottom of the transducer will be right here, and the water levels can come just above it. So really, you gotta think more boat, less kayak. All right, now that is the skiff configuration. Now let's see the kayak configuration, the power-kayak configuration. 1, 2, 3.
Where am I?
Sorry, let me try again. 1, 2, 3. And that right there is the power-kayak configuration. So what did we actually do? This took us about 2 minutes, okay? So all you gotta do is unscrew, you're gonna switch the seat out, right? This is your main change. You're gonna unscrew these, you're gonna pull this off. That takes about 40 seconds, and then you slide this right on top of the same T-bolts, the same exact bar. But now you have a 360-degree swivel seat made by Millennium. I think this is some people's favorite seat ever. And again, Jeff would agree. So great seat, very comfortable. You don't need the cushion, but if you got it, I think this is probably one of the most comfortable configurations in all of kayak fishing. Also, to point out, there are some really cool things you could add here, like a tray here on the side made by New Canoe that's got some magnetic-y stuff that lets you have a little, if you decide to put a Newport controller on there or a Torpedo, you can actually mount it right to the side of your kayak, so it's like right there. You're like you're in Star Wars, you're Han Solo, like bam, 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 take out the TIE fighters, so to speak. Anyways, you also are gonna swap out this plate. So instead of this plate right here for a transom, you want a solid plate made by Crescent in the USA, fully metal, custom fit for this configuration that now with these 4-bolt pattern, you can mount a motor here on the back. I prefer the Newport, that's what we always roll with. And if you choose to do so, NK300, this is absolutely going to fly. I cannot wait to speed test this. And you get foot steering. So a cable goes from here where the motor is, through here, inside the hull, completely invisible, pops out here, ties to this, and now you got your foot steering ready and waiting for you on both sides. So really clean setup, not a huge difference, but what is it opening up for you? So now that battery situation, you got a lot of room back here for a gigantic crate. Not everyone thinks about the fact that if you want to have a motor and a crate, you need to have space for a battery, a crate, and all your cables. Steve, the owner of Water Dog, let us stay in his home, kind gentleman, fed us dinner. We had a venison dinner. Owner of this fine establishment, Water Dog is out here in beautiful Whitehall, Michigan, has brought us out some props so we can show you how some people, they don't think about this configuration. But here you got a ton of space, not much to worry about. So what he grabbed for us is the 13 by 16, so this is the mid-size. 16 by 16 is going to be slightly wider. You got a couple configuration options. You can put it the horizontal, we'll call it the horizontal way. I don't love this as much. I feel like it eats up a lot of your space. You would probably go this direction right here. Now you'll notice when you put these handles in here, there's actually a spot for webbing. You could actually have one webbing to go from here to here, and then you could do the same thing on the back. There's another anchor point. You have webbing that can go from here to here, and then you're fully secured. You can get 3 and 3. That's your 6 rod holders. And if you want to go more, you could do more at the back. Webbing is basically this right here. It's these cam straps right there. Exactly. Thank you very much, Jeff. Now,
Somebody's gonna be like,
what? Webbing? What is this, Spider-Man? Yeah, maybe I am. All right, so also, where's your battery gonna go? Well, you can put it right here, and you have the opportunity to use these tie-down points right here to secure your battery, depending on where you want it to live. So you also have a couple different options. You can go the other direction. You can move your crate up this way. You know, you're gonna wanna leave room for your seat, right? You wanna leave room for your seat. That's why I like the battery back there. But if you like this, you can just put your battery back here. So you do have a lot of room. And honestly, there's enough room to even go side by side if you really wanted to. You could go bingo bongo, and you still got a ton of space here. So I really do like this configuration. This is about as much space as I've ever seen in a rear tank well for things like battery and crates. Just already very angry.
get out of here.
Hey, all I'm saying is you just have a lot of real estate back here, way more than you might think. And then again, with the foot steering that's pre-molded, it just keeps everything out of the way for you, which is very convenient. Is that the 1313? 1661. Let's check it out. Now we have over here, I kind of like the Halloween vibes on this guy right here. What are we talking about? All right, so you get your 1616. That's about as far back as you can roll it. And again, you can use tie downs from here to here. That's what Jeff and I typically do. Or you can configure it with your handles like we talked about, and you can get your cam strap coming here and then on the other side as well. So with the 1616, this is typically how I like it. I like the back to open up this direction. And then we take our battery, we shove it right here. Now the real question is, when we do it in this configuration, whoo, you're getting all that swivel, right? And that's super important. That's what you're trying to protect with that giant tank well and having the Millennium seat. And then obviously you can move the seat a little bit further forward. So you got about another 2.5 inches, 3 inches that you can move this seat forward. And again, you got all this weight in the back, so you're probably gonna want the seat shoved as far forward as possible so that you're trimmed out, balanced out, and making the most out of your motor. And then Steve was also kind enough to grab us the gigantic, you could do this with a 1616, but we have what's called, what do they call us? What's wrong with me? The short stack. Steve was kind enough to grab us one with a short stack. So if you want to quadruple, you want to go to a duplex level, you can go the short stack, all your quick grab accessories. And then when you close that up and you open this one up, you can go ahead and get to all of your tackle. It's about as much storage as you could possibly ask for inside of a kayak. And these are available in all 3 configurations, 1313, 1316, and 1616. Whatever your little heart desires and however much tackle you think that you can fit inside of a kayak, go for it. Now when it comes to electronics, you do need to have some storage up front. So let's talk about this upfront storage here. So when you open this up, this is one thing I thought was really interesting. They did a quick connect. So if you want to do a bow mount motor, you can actually do it. You're just going to have to find your 4-bolt pattern. You have to mount it right here, and you're gonna mount it off the side, kind of like you would traditionally see on a boat. And then one quick call out too, I saw something on Crescent's website that I thought was very interesting. You can actually do an Anderson connector right here. Jeff and I have showed this in the past, but it's essentially a port. So when you have your motor right here, you just wanna plug it in and then go, so you can actually unplug it from right here without opening this up. But on the inside, you can have your battery right here. You're gonna set it in the center tank well area right there, and you still have room for tackle storage. This goes all the way to the very front. So if you're into just having like lunch and all that kind of stuff in here, there is a ton of room inside this. So you're really gonna be able to make the most out of this front storage area. Now, one thing that we did notice is unless you're mounting your electronics off here to the side, you are probably going to have to put some track here up front and do some sort of captain's bridge in order to get a center mount screen. Our plan with this build is to mess around with it a little bit. We're gonna get in the water and test the stability, see how this thing feels today, but really, in the next couple of weeks, we are gonna actually do a full build in this. And our intent with these builds is to show you how to make the most out of both configurations. So we're gonna try and do a super clean build for the skiff and then a fully modded out build that also shows you how to do the power kayak version as well. So stay tuned for that one. For now, I think we need to get this on the water. So should I say to the pond? To the pond. So one thing I forgot to call out that's really cool is they actually put handles right underneath here, and there's also some cleats for you to tie up in the back too. Just again, like a boat. You gotta think boat. You can't think kayak so much. Power kayak, skiff translates to boat. All right, now I'm expecting this. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay, here we go. There we go. Now we're just doing a little stability test. Obviously, we're not gonna get a speed test. Oh, now it's not, I will tell you right now, it's not like tight neck steady where you don't move at all. I will say that right off the bat. But it takes about a millisecond for you to figure out that you're not going anywhere. And I bet it's more stable at the back where it's more squared off. All right, now we gotta do what they said it was gonna do. We're gonna see if, now granted there's no weight in the back, but let's test the stability way up front. You expect to be able to stand on this as a platform. Oh, yeah, dude, all day. With weight in the back, because once you start getting this lower in the water, your stability skyrockets. So if I got a boat battery in the back, a legit, you know, monster 100 amp hour battery in the back, like, that is only gonna help us out. And then the heavier the motor, the more stable this is gonna be. If you have a trolling motor up here, yeah, I mean, you're all day walking, no concerns whatsoever. This is actually way more steady than I thought it was gonna be. Crescent is known for their paddling kayaks, meaning you get a little bit of rock, because with that rock, you don't lose efficiency with the paddle. So there's a little bit of that just because the front is so pointed. So you sacrifice a little stability for your ability to go fast, be fast. And I think you're at a great balance point here because you're gonna spend most of your time back here. This is one of the hardest things to do. We've talked about it for a long time, so to do a circle in a kayak. So that ultimately is one of the best tests. I mean, I could try and go in the back. I think that's gonna be by far your most stable point. Best way to do that, the way you're always gonna do that, is to spin around and find out. And yeah, I mean, I don't think you're getting, get a little weight in this boat, it's gonna be insanely stable. So as stable as you need it to be at a bare minimum, and then let's see what it looks like with a motor in the back. I think we'll have to, there's a little bit of a TBD factor. And like we said, we're gonna make a whole other video once we get some motorization on here, and we're gonna let her rip, Tater Chip, or as we like to say, let her chip, Tater rip. All right, Jeff's turn. You wanna get on it, buddy? Yeah. Too bad. Okay. Maybe next time.
All right. My turn. I'm out here. Look at me go. I wanna paddle it. Hang on. I use my paddle properly. And we'll see how fast we can turn around. It turns like a hippopotamus ballerina.
Like a boat?
Like a boat, one might say. To the rock feature, to the buck. It's got a little agility. It's definitely fast. I'll give it that much, that's for sure. Skirt. Yeah, oh, there's that typical Crescent stability. As soon as it hits the edge, it like sticks. Like, yeah, it just like sticks to it. Ugh. Look at the waves in the pond.
The koi are losing their minds.
They for sure are. All right, I'm not one that's gonna stand on the front if I'm fishing out of this thing. I'm not doing it. I'm making your boat muddy already. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I feel insanely stable. I would have no problem standing and fishing out of this thing. I think you're right too. Like, as soon as you add some tackle in this, oh yeah, a lot less stability up front for me. But as soon as you add some weight to this, you're gonna be, excuse me, Doc, you're gonna be really happy. Spinny, spinny boy. Oh, I can bring water in the channels, don't worry. It's pretty dang stable. It's a spiffy skiffy.
All right, y'all, we're back in the Aggressively Average studio, basically my basement. We had a little bit of corrupted file footage there, but I wanted to get back on here and just let you guys know kind of final thoughts and kind of how you should be thinking about this. Again, we talked about this kayak. It's not really a kayak. It can be a power kayak, but it also can be a boat and has a lot of boat-like features. When you see the bottom of that hull, you can just tell that thing is going to absolutely scream no matter what kind of motor you get on there. But if you get a tiller steer, 6 horsepower or 3 horsepower, like the Newport NT 6 or 300 that we talked about, or if you get an NK 300 on the back, you're going to be screaming. You're screaming eagles all the way across the lake, and then you have the option for the trolling motor on the front too. I can't wait to do some of these builds. The power-kayak build, I'm thinking trolling motor, big screen on the front, wireless controls through and through, just to keep everything nice and clean, because that deck is so minimalist and clean. And then we'll obviously stick with the foot steering, put the NK300 on the back. After we get done with that build, actually first I'll probably do the tiller steer, and what we'll do is we'll get the bench out, we'll get the cooler seat on the front. I'll probably still put some electronics in that one at some point, and then we will get the NT600 on the back, and we'll do some speed tests for you so you can really understand with an electric equivalent equivalent 6 horsepower, how fast can we really go? I'm thinking 11, 12, 13, 14 maybe. They're saying up to 19 with a gas 6 horse. That is wild. I cannot wait to get this on the water, show it to you guys, show you how far kayak fishing has come, how far kayak design has come to the point where we've basically made a boat. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can see when we post our next video. And if you have questions or you just want to talk with us live, you can come join our live podcast Wednesdays, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. We would love to see you there and chat. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Later.